I'm now proud to have the United States as my neighbor. Thank you. We have people all over the world. We had somebody in the Netherlands write a message on her bicep. We have people in the United States and elsewhere who didn't really like Obama and said, make sure that you keep your promises. I'm watching. But we had literally hundreds of thousands of pictures, and we said, look, if you put them up, you let us use them on The Guardian, and we'll give you credit for it. We got so many pictures. Flickr's got a great little service. You can actually print out a book. We made a book of this. We didn't make money out of it. We didn't lose any money out of it. And again, anyone who submitted a picture got a free copy of the book. And so it was just something really nice that we can do. This came, our head of social media development, Mike Pickard, came up with this idea. It took us 10 minutes to do. Set up a group, got some people involved. Doesn't have to take a long time.
Today, anyone can record the news. Virtually every event can be captured and shared instantly on YouTube, giving us an unprecedented view of our world. But how can media organizations like yours take advantage of this revolution in citizen reporting to enhance your own news coverage and analysis? The answer is YouTube Direct, a new platform that allows news organizations to solicit and verify news footage on YouTube by connecting you directly with video makers who want to participate in your news gathering process. Here's how it works. YouTube Direct brings the functionality of YouTube's upload platform to your website. You can customize the platform to ask your audience for news footage on particular events, or you can solicit commentary around the stories of the day. Every video that a visitor submits to your site will be accessible on a private moderation platform, where you'll be able to accept or reject each submission based on your own editorial guidelines. Videos that your editors accept will be automatically tagged on YouTube with a link back to the original page on your website. You can also reach out to the video maker directly to get more information about the clip. That way, you can rebroadcast the best footage on your network or website, or incorporate the user submissions into your regular reporting. YouTube Direct allows you to create your own Bureau of Citizen Stringers, leveraging the YouTube platform and community to expand both your audience and the scope of your reporting. Find out more at youtube.com/direct.
Again, you don't have to be a media organization to use that. You can use their platform to do interesting things, and again, it gives you some moderation, allows you to sort of have all that functionality, and you don't have to build anything. And I do know the great thing is that Google services are localized in Georgia, so you can not have to worry about having to translate. So I mentioned Google Docs and a little bit about how we use them. One of the great things about Google Docs or Zoho is another sort of web-based office application, is you can do collaborative working regardless of your location. So sometimes we actually were doing a live blog, and because our own tools weren't really up to task, we would have somebody write it into a Google Doc, and then we copy it into our own content management system. You can collaborate inside and outside your organization. So not only can you build a spreadsheet or share a document or share a presentation or build a small website, but you can also then collaborate with people outside. It's really easy to actually make a form. So if you create a spreadsheet in Google, you can just say, create a form, and then it gives you the code to put that into a web page. Now, 10 years ago, you had to do all kinds of coding with CGI and all this garbage, and you basically had to computer code. I call myself a cut and paste coder. I don't know how to code worth a toffee, but I can take that little bit of embed code or that little bit of HTML or that little bit of whatever, put it on my WordPress blog, put it on my website, and suddenly, I've got a form where people can submit information. And like I said before, with our data store, it's allowed us to easily publish data to the rest of the world. Now, with the forms, people can input data. With our data store, okay, we say, this is the data that we've collected, we reviewed, we put our Guardian stamp of approval on it, and people don't enter any data, but at least they can reuse it in a number of different formats that are useful to them. So one of the ways that the Guardians use this is Iran. We, of course, knew after the post-election violence, the pre-election and then post-election violence in Iran, that there were a lot of people who were dead and detained. However, whether it was the BBC, the Guardian, or basically any Western news organization, one of my former colleagues at the BBC, John Lyne, was tossed out of the country for some of his reporting and some of the other positions at the BBC. Most of our reporters were evicted from the country, or at least severely restrained. It meant that we really didn't have the ability to take and collect information about those people. However, we got a small list from a couple of human rights organizations. Human Rights Watch helped us out. And so we had a basic outline of the dead and detained. But then we put up a form, a Google spreadsheet form, and said, do you have any information? Some of that was, do you have a new name to add? Some of it was, can you confirm that this person has been dead or this person has been detained, and if so, where? It allowed us to verify a lot of the information. We had one reporter who was dedicated to taking care of this, and we were able to build up this picture. And I mean, this is a snapshot from just January, and we've got lots more pictures now. It's something we update continuously. But all on the back end, all that's driven is by a Google spreadsheet. Another example outside the Guardian is called the Hidden People Finder. Now, again, this is one of those elements that's developed over the last several years with catastrophes. It actually started off with a people finder after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And now it's just an application that someone's put up on Google that basically says, I'm looking for someone or I have information for someone. So basically connects two sides of the equation. Someone who wants to find someone who's, oh look, I can't get in touch with my aunt, or I can't get in touch with my relative, do you have any information? And someone who actually might have information about that missing person. I'm going to highlight this because it's really great. It works, again, with Google Docs. It's called Zmaps and MapList. Zmaps.com and MapList.com. They're two really easy services that once you've got your Google spreadsheet, you've got that information about where something is, it creates a gorgeous map for you. So this is a map that I did for a story at the end of last year, looking at all of the two things. One, where there had been media organizations that had cut jobs, that's the blue dots. And then the red dots are actually newspapers that closed last year in the UK. It was really sad. I think we lost about 100 newspapers last year because of the recession, just because of the downturn in newspapers. Again, I can't code it all, but I can upload this spreadsheet and have this site sort of put all of this stuff on. It makes great graphics. All the information about the number of job cuts, the publication, a link back to the story where we had reported the job cuts was all contained in that. And again, all it was driven off of Google Docs. Now, putting all of this together, how do you choose the right tool? So how do you know whether you use Twitter or whether you use Facebook or whether you use Google Docs, and what are you trying to do? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a couple projects that I've done, close it out, and then I'll take some questions. So start thinking about questions. I really like to take questions. So in 2008, the Guardian sent me back to the US to cover the election. I drove 4,000 miles across the country. The problem with British editors is that they don't realize how big the United States is. So they always say, oh yeah, you can drive across the United States in 3 weeks. I said, I can, and I'll get a postcard, and I won't be able to do much. But I did it in 3.5 weeks. And the orange, and there's a little bit of yellow in there, but you can kind of see, that's the exact route I took. I drove 4,000 miles. I took 2,000 photos, posted them all up on Flickr. They all are geotagged, so they're all in those locations. I did 1,600 Twitter updates. That was by far and away the easiest way I could update something, because I was driving sometimes 11, 12 hours a day. There wasn't a lot of time to take off to the side, and I was driving by myself. I did 50 blog posts in that time, and I also managed to have 4 blogger meetups, because I thought this was really important. I mean, I could have probably done a lot of this stuff from UK, from London, from the comfort of my own chair in my office, but I'm out and about. What's something I cannot do? I can't meet up with people. So I had blogger meetups in LA, Denver, Columbus, Ohio, and I had a great blogger meetup last night in NPR headquarters, National Public Radio headquarters, with bloggers from across the country writing about the election. So, like I said, 50 blog posts, they went on The Guardian. But I also had a Facebook group, which was really great because I could send out a message to all the few hundred people who were on my Facebook group. Again, I only had 3.5 weeks to get all this, so my Facebook group didn't get a huge amount of traffic, but it was fun. And I could message them and kind of say, this is what I'm doing this morning, and this is what I'm up to. And I actually got some really interesting questions from people in my network, folks in Malaysia, who wanted to know various aspects about the election. Like I said, I posted pictures on Flickr. I had a Twitter account, which was, like I said, really excellent. One of my favorite stories about the election is, after I finished blogging on the night at the blogger meetup at NPR, I was really surprised because I